Good morning, dear students. Today we will talk about a chapter in the supplementary class 9 subject English. A house is not a home. Why does the author say that a house is not a home? When you read the chapter, then you will come to the conclusion at the end that the house where he was living and the house which is being revealed at the end of the story, both were different. The first house where he was living in, that was the home for him because he was living with his family members. Now the house which is being burnt after the damage created by fire, that is the house. That's why he said, this house is not that home where I was living in with my all love and affection, sharing with my family members. So we will know one by one, step by step, who were the family members, especially he, his mother and his lovely cat. These three members were his family members. So let's come to the topic. What does it give us detail? How we can understand it in a summary way. But please take it in your consideration that if you want to have all the details, then you please visit your bookstore or the book which you are having and please go through by reading. So let's start. A tale about the author when he was a teenager, how he overcome his problem while growing. This story will tell you how a teenager, how a child tries to overcome his feelings, how he tries to adjust in his new life. When we are teenager, we don't understand the world properly. We don't know what is happening to us. We don't understand properly what is happening in the world. So whatever the happenings, whatever the mishappenings or good happenings happens with us, we develop our thoughts and ideas accordingly. In the new school, the narrator feels isolated as he has come to a high school and all are new to him. Here in this point we see that he was studying in previous school and now he was the student of a new high school where he had got recently admitted. But he was missing the previous teachers, old teachers and his old classmates badly, and that's why he used to come back to that previous teachers and he asked and shared his sad feelings that he was not comfortable to adjust with the new setup of the school, the teachers, the classmates. But his teachers always encouraged him that you please participate in the activities that we will see in the next. He was told by his teachers that he should participate in activities in his new school to engage his mind, and in this way he could make new friends also. So his teachers were very positive minded and they were optimistic as well, and they knew the psychology of a child, how a child needs to be adjusted in a new system of school. It was on Sunday in winter season. Narrator saw some smoke pouring out of the ceiling of the house. When he was working in his house, in his room, all of a sudden he found that some smokes were filling the room and his cat was playing on the very table he was working on. He runs quickly to his neighbor to call to fire station. His mother goes in the house which is on fire and comes out with a metal box. So as a responsible person of the family, he runs to the neighbor and calls to the fire station. In between, his mother goes inside the house and carries a metal box which was having the important documents. His mother runs into the house again to bring his dead father's photo and some letters. He also tries to go in but he is stopped by the firefighters. Second time mother went inside to carry some important documents and photo albums, and he also wanted to accompany his mother. But meanwhile, the fire brigadiers had reached there and they told him not to go inside because they knew it was a risk that he could meet fire. His mother was saved by the firefighter. He could see his house burning helplessly, though the firefighters tried to extinguish the fire. Here he was unable to extinguish the fire and he was helplessly looking at the house which was being burnt in the fire. He becomes sad, he lost his cat and he lost his house, and he was not comfortable to remember his new school as well. So after the damage was done, he visits his grandparents' house, but still he is not comfortable. He is suffering a lot. He is missing his cat. He is not good at understanding with the new system in the school of high school. He spends the night in his grandparents' house with his mother. This was the only place where he could go in the world. He became desperate when his house was burned to ashes. He had lost all his hopes to live. And this is the time whenever he used to remember the past happenings, he used to become so desperate that he did not want to live and he wanted to die alone. He had lost all his hopes to live. He was so desperate that he wanted to die. His dresses were dirty and he was in the same dress which he had gone to the church on Sunday. And this fire incident is on Sunday afternoon. His school bag was also burned in that house. He asked for shoes to go to school from his aunt, as his shoes were also burned in the fire. He was quite unable to understand the sadness that he had received from losing his everything in that house. The second tells how he was sad, how he was desperate, as he had lost everything, all the connections with that burning of the house. When he visits his house, he becomes sad that everything was destroyed. He was happy. Why? Because he had seen that his mother had saved photo albums and documents, but again he missed his lost cat. And whenever he used to come from the school, after the school was over, it was his duty like that he used to stop near his house and he used to saw his damaged house. Again he visited his house and missed his cat, who used to climb on his robe and crawl into his pocket to sleep, and he is remembering the past, how his cat used to climb on his robe and he crawled slowly in the pocket and there he slept. And this was the mischievous act and lovely act for the author that he enjoyed a lot. Now he had rented an apartment because there was no house to stay in, so he had rented an apartment for the time being. One day he becomes surprised that all the children took him to a room where all the necessary items were kept on a big table. He was overwhelmed and touched to see their love and support. And here, one day when he visits his Vidyalaya, his school, there he finds in a room all the necessary items that he could use, that he could need, were kept on a big table. And this was a great surprise from his classmates, from the students of that school. And he thanked them. It took 1 month, his house was being rebuilt, and so he was recovering. And after 1 month was passed, he saw his house was being rebuilt, and he also felt that he was recovering from the sadness and suffering. While he was sitting one day, he heard someone behind coming, and it was a lady who had handed him his cat after a short discussion. And he was surprised that how could that lady found his cat to him, because there was a tab, there was a band in the neck of the cat and his phone numbers were written. And this was the generosity of the lady, that she managed to find out the address for the proper master of the cat, and she handed him. He was thankful for his friends who had supported, and he thinks and he remembers how his friends supported in the new school, and he was thankful for his cat for coming back as his love was back. In this way the story ends, but please, if you want the details, you should go and read the book back, and if you have any doubts, you please write in the comment box. Thank you everyone, and bye.